Welcome to our 11th workshop for NASEP. We're here with some wonderful guests from Native SOAR who are going to get started in a moment. But first, I want to go over our agenda for today. So we're going to have Native SOAR present. Afterwards, we'll summarize our last meeting and just do a science fair check-in since NASEP is coming up shortly. And then remind folks of the community norms. Wait, what did I? Announcements and then the breakout rooms. Yes. So a reminder for the community norms. So to keep focused on a common goal, strive to understand multiple perspectives, be willing to be disturbed and change your mind, critique ideas and concepts, not people, share the space, stay engaged in the work and respect each other's time, recognize when each of us needs space for emotions, for a pause to process, accept non-closure, apologize and work to repair damage if a norm is violated. All right, so Native SOAR is back. They presented at our 9th workshop, and so we're excited to have them here again. If we could do rounds of applause or emojis to welcome the group. And I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen so that you all can share yours. But welcome. Thank you all.
Right. Can everybody see the screen?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome.
Well, good evening, everyone. We're glad to be back with you guys, and today we're going to be taking a deep dive into college life. My name is Cadence Palmer. I am currently majoring in biosystems engineering with a minor in American Indian Studies, and I am currently a second year at the University of Arizona. Also, my tribal affiliation is Mescalero Apache and Yankton Sioux.
Hi guys, I'm Amaya Lee. I'm a freshman here at the University of Arizona. I'm studying molecular and cellular biology, and I have a minor in American Indian Studies, and I'm affiliated with the Navajo Nation.
Hi everyone, my name is Nashayla Chapis. I am a freshman. I'm currently undeclared and my tribal affiliation is Kachan Indian tribe.
Sorry. Hi, everyone. My name is Cadence Sinigini. I'm a second year here at the University of Arizona. My major is veterinary science, and my tribal affiliation is the Navajo Nation.
So today we have a pretty full schedule, so I hope you guys are excited to stay tuned. First, we're going to jump into our welcome back, and then we're going to transition into a college student's time. And then third, we have some scholarship tips to share with you guys. And lastly, we have some closing remarks.
Okay, so we have a quick icebreaker for you all. Our question is, what is your average current screen time? And we have a little whiteboard link that hopefully should work. If you want to go ahead and open that up, you should be able to place a sticky note on the prompt to answer the question. But yeah, just want to know what your current screen time is like right now. And then we'll set a little 5-minute timer for that. If you're having technology issues, also please just let me know as well. Is everybody able to access the link okay? Or
If for some reason the link isn't working for you, you can send me or one of the presenters a chat message and they could put the sticky note in for you.
yeah.
It looks like the link's working.
Okay. And everybody can access the sticky notes okay? If not, you can also just put it in the chat. I would still like to know what your current screen time is like. Mine currently is, I would say, because I've been studying for finals, it's been on the edge of like maybe 3 hours, which is it's a little much, but it's less than what it normally is. All right, we got probably 6 hours, which is pretty real. I get that. And then we have 5 hours as well. Looks like there's also 7 hours because of school Chromebooks, which I totally get. My screen time on my computer is a lot more than on my phone just because I'm staying up doing all these assignments and trying to meet all these deadlines.
Austin, were you able to use the link? I just saw your message. If not, you can send me another message with your time and I'll put it in.
I still can't access this.
Cool. What's your screen time if you're fine sharing it? Or you can send it to me.
Oh, 10 hours plus school.
10 hours. Okay, I'll put that in.
Okay, looks like we have about 35 seconds left. Just wanting to know what your current average screen time is. What's it been like recently? Just a little reflection on um, if you've gained in hours or you've actually managed your time a little bit and decreased that amount. Okay, we're coming up on 5 seconds. Oh, all right. So that was the end of our little icebreaker. Thank you all for participating. Um, and I really get that. I feel like I know you all a little bit more.
Okay, now we're gonna switch on to the next slide. Do college students really have time? So most people would say you do have a lot of time, but you have more free time than you may think. It's all about managing your time and your priorities. So here is how time management matters. It boosts your health and wellness, it reduces stress, plus increased academic performance, better quality of your work. But there's also time traps, unproductive, unconscious habits, behaviors, or situations that consumes excessive time and reduce efficiency. Here are some common time traps you guys may see. There is procrastination disguised as preparation, overcommitment, underestimating how long things take, multitasking instead of focusing. And here's a tip, track how much time you spend in a week. I have gone through many like things like this by just procrastinating on how many assignments I have and then say like I'll do it later, which I would say that's a big time trap for me. But on the next slide, we have a timesheet, a weekly planner to plan out your week. Um, we could access, if you can't access the link, we could put it in the chat for you guys and you guys can fill it out your own. I would really recommend doing it because it helps you plan out your week. So that's what I got for that.
Okay, and then we have our little time management triangle. It's a way where you can organize and manage your time as a student. So there's 3 points to the triangle, starting with the green one on the right, the green star on the right. There's the important but not urgent category. This is for any tasks that you have that you could schedule and create a timeline. But the main idea is that it needs to be done, but not at that moment. And then there's also the urgent but not important category, but with the yellow star on the left. This is for anything that you could potentially delegate or limit the amount of time you spend on it. It's like the category says, it's urgent, but it's not the most important, so you don't need to be delegating a lot of time to it. And then at the pinnacle of the time management triangle is going to be the red star, which represents anything urgent and important. Anything that you would have to do at that moment, let's say like it's a deadline, do that night or that evening. But this is a way that you can just manage your time and the tasks you need to get done. So you're not spending too much time on something really unimportant or spending not enough time on something super important. And then, like our triangle suggests, there's the neither option. If you're really in a pinch and it's something that doesn't meet any of these categories, you would say, we would recommend to just let it go. Maybe you can complete it another day or again, set aside time for it, but that's not the most important thing that you would need to be focusing on at that moment. And then here's some tools and techniques that you could use as students. There's the calendar blocking, which would be assigning time for classes, studying, and rest. It's really helpful if you block out time within your week of designating like certain study periods, certain resting periods, like going potentially like eating meals or like going to the gym. It's something I find really helpful as a college student. And I tend to use like my Google Calendar just to see that like I'm also resting as much as I'm like working. And then there's also the Pomodoro method, which is characterized by a 25-minute focus period, followed by a 5-minute break. So you would just set aside a timer for 25 minutes, do as much as you can, and work on that one thing. And then you would take a 5-minute break just to like reset your brain and all that. But I would recommend when you're on your 5-minute break to stay away from your phone and like um, not start scrolling. Otherwise, it's really easily to fall into that time trap, as like Nishayla stated. And then there's also weekly review. There's Sunday night check-ins. This could be like in combination with your calendar blocking. Every Sunday night, if you just check in on like what needs to be done throughout the week, any deadlines you need to complete, or any meetings you need to attend, it can be really helpful to just look at it at the start of the week and be like, okay, this is what needs to get done. This is what I need to do. That way, nothing like sneaks up on you and you're not surprised. There's also other prioritization tools, such as you can utilize to-do lists, a paper planner, sticky notes, anything that you just feel like would help you become more organized as a student and help you manage your time. And then with that, we added some helpful apps that you could potentially have. Like I was talking about, like Google Calendar, there's Google Tasks, which is you can just like reminders on your phone. You can just put in whatever needs to get done and then you can check it off once it's completed. But the nice thing about this one is that it actually syncs with your Google Calendar too. So you can see your reminders as well as like if you're utilizing your calendar blocking, see what also needs to get done that day. And then there's also the pomofocus.io. It's an online customizable Pomodoro timer. So utilizing that tool, like I stated, it's you can customize your focus periods and then also your break periods. But basically just trying to manage how much time you set aside for something. And then there's also the app TickTick. This one can be used on your phone or on your computer. But the gist of it is that it supports time tracking with focus. So this one is actually my favorite one to use out of all of them. I've used it since like junior year, and it's helped me manage not only my assignments, but also like any habits I want to uphold. It comes with a Pomodoro timer and just like a normal timer as well. So it's basically an all-in-one for me, and I find it super helpful in navigating my life as like a college student and all like the deadlines. So usually I'll just go into my syllabus, figure out all my deadlines, and then put them into this app, and it helps me manage all of that. And then there are other apps such as Forest and Opal. These apps help reduce like the screen time on your phones and help you stay in that period of focus. So they utilize like timers and the Pomodoro technique as well. So Forest is more of a gamified app, encouraging you to stay off your phone to grow your digital forest. If you stay off your phone for that period of time, you get like a little tree that grows. But if you don't, you end up killing the tree and it's going to impact your little forest. There's also Opal. It's not a game, but it helps reduce your screen time by blocking apps during focus time. So kind of like do not disturb, but it actually helps because it like physically prevents you from like going onto your apps in that way.
Yeah, and then also for a tip, we wanted to put like maybe time management as a student. So we input here like you use the three P's, which is plan, prioritize, and protect your time. And with that, you have to set like boundaries for like your study sessions. You have to stay off social media and like your volunteer times and work that you have to do. It's just with all those like the three P's and setting boundaries, you have to find your routine that best fits you for your schedule in like your work life or school life. And then we also with the weekly time management idea, like with going back to like the timesheet like we provided, you can use this for like for a little like activity or something to plan because there are 168 hours per week and like I said with like the timesheet we offered or just like with like your planner or your Google Calendar, you can map out how you want to spend your time. You can fill in the hours you spend sleeping, studying, working, etc. All like the all your educational stuff that you want to like get done and not worry about later. And then you consider where you can reclaim like 3 to 5 hours a week for meaningful projects and work. And all this will just fit more into time management as more intentionality, not perfection. So it's okay if you like have to try and like if some blow over or like there's like mix ups, it's okay. It's not about being perfect. It's just like helping you stay balanced. And back to like the point we made, like for time management as a student, you have to set boundaries, which means it's okay to say no. Like if when moments come up where you have to like study for an exam the next day, or you have to try and get homework done that's due like before midnight and your friends or something comes up, you have to have that boundary to say no. Because if you sacrifice that time to hang out with your friends or your event now, it can lead to a greater reward, like getting a better grade on your exam or getting the highest, like going above the expectation you wanted for your homework grade. So it's just sacrificing now equals great reward later. And so with that, like since we talked about like doing like our weekly planning, we thought we would put in a week in our lives as student mentors and just with being a college student in general. You can see I have mine in the top left and then my other mentors wanted to put we put our theirs. There's a Maya and then Cadence and Nishayla. You can see all of what we have to deal with every week. And then this also just shows us like our classes. We do have our own like little like we use like our apps or Google and our planners actually have like maybe appointments and like all our due dates. So this is kind of like just our schedule in a weekly basis.
So next we're going to talk about applying time management to scholarships. So the major thing is when you're applying to scholarships, it's very important to start early planning because there's so many tasks that come along with it, such as recommendation letters, essays, transcripts, and interviews. So you got to take time to really plan all of that out, and especially finding those letter of recommendations. And with time management, that means less stress and more higher quality applications. So a tip would be to create a timeline that starts 3 to 6 months before the deadline. And yeah, here we also provided a sample scholarship timeline. So you can see March through April. April is mainly like explore opportunities and attend info sessions and meet advisors. And then in June, that's basically when you're going to want to start making your draft essays and start brainstorming experiences and also outlining goals. By July and August, that's when you're going to want to revision and feedback. So possibly submit all your stuff to your peers and mentors just to see what they think for an okay before you submit. And finally, September to October time is usually final submission time for scholarships. So complete campus processes for sure. And lastly, December is preparation. So that's usually where you're going to want to update your deadline spreadsheet and you're going to want to recycle your essays. By recycle essays, that means like possibly keep all your essays that you write into one Google Doc because you can just use that essay again for a different question. So you don't have to rewrite everything from scratch. And lastly, update your resume because once you get like certificates or like new experiences, you're going to want to add that to your resume because people love that. And also, you might forget sometimes, like I do. So don't be like that. Yeah. And here's some scholarship writing tips. So you're going to want to plan through by reading through the essay requirements. And every essay kind of differs. So you got to see like exactly before planning out. And then you're going to want to map out how you would write out your essay's criteria. Usually the scholarships do have like an essay format that you can follow by too. But yeah, and you're going to want to try to add your own personality into your writing because people eat that stuff up. I'm telling y'all, like, share your personal experiences. Like, even if it's traumatizing, they love that. Like, I'm telling y'all. And then you're going to want to combine it all together. And that's when you're going to start showing the writing process and show yourself for sure. Like, people love to get to know you. Like, recently I had an interview and all I did was just yap. Like, I didn't know what to talk about. I just yapped about myself and my interest and what I'm passionate about. And I actually got the internship. So, yay. And yeah.
And then, as we mentioned it before, also is like getting the letters of recommendation for like when they ask for a reference letter or anything in the scholarship. So we thought we would provide on how to ask a recommendation letter. So we thought for one that was like don't wait last minute. So like asking like at least 3 to 4 weeks in advance because the person you're asking or just people in general, we're busy. They have like their own schedule and like everything. So it's nice to give them time so they can actually like also put like more thought into it and actually writing like a nicer, smoother letter for you and not making it look rushed and maybe having like grammar errors. And so we thought also too is like choosing the right person. Pick the person that knows you best, like that show they know you as a person and they can speak about your character and growth because it's best to hear from someone that knows you for you and they can just vouch for you and talk highly. And then next is asking the right way. You don't want to just go up to some or the person just be like, hey, write me the letter or just anything like that. So it's best just to ask formally, like asking like, either an email or asking a person like, hey, are you comfortable with writing me a letter of recommendation for a scholarship that I'm trying to get? So they might think they'll take into consideration that you're asking them nicely and formal instead of just being straight up and telling them can you write me a letter? And the next one is make it easy for them. So like sending them your resume and maybe personal statement essays, and then like sending them like the deadlines and the letter requirements that they need to hit. So it's nice just for them to have all that right there so they don't have to try and figure out at the top of their head or try and remember stuff that you've told them. So they can just reference there and just get it all done before the deadline hits. And also you always have to follow up professionally. Just like hit them up real quick, asking like gently, like it says 7 to 10 days before, asking like, hey, it's coming up closer. It's like it's coming up next week. Have you started? Or like how's the process going? And then once like they submit it and everything, always remember to say thank you because they're taking the time out of their day and out of like their schedule to write the letter that of recommendation for the scholarship. So it's always say thank you.
All right, and here's some scholarships that are occurring for the rest of the year. We just wanted to put together like a little bit more thorough list of like what potentially you could apply to if you're currently a senior or going to enter your senior year. And generally these due dates remain the same throughout the years. So we have the American Indian Education Fund. That one's coming up on April 4th. The Advancing Indigenous Science and Engineering Society, they have a few scholarships, but some of the you can just apply through like a singular scholarship portal. And then the due date for that one would be April 30th. There's the Southwest Native American Foundation Scholarship, which is going to be due May 1st. American Indian College Fund, which is also due May 1st. The Association on American Indian Affairs Scholarship is going to be due May 31st. Native Forward Scholars Fund, that one's also you apply through a portal, is going to be through June 1st. And then there's American Indian Services, that's going to be due July 1st. But the idea with these American Indian scholarships is that it's based on your recognition as like with the federal government as a Native American. So typically they're going to require not only like short answer essays and potentially long answer essays, transcripts, letters of recommendation, but they're also probably going to ask for like your tribal documents to send like a photocopy of it potentially, just so that you can remain eligible for the scholarship. And then along with that, there's going to be other scholarships through like your prospective college or university that you're interested in. So I know the U of A has their own scholarship universe, NAU does as well, ASU. But if you those ones, typically sometimes they may require a letter of recommendation, but typically it's just short answer essays that you need to answer. And then the great thing about those is that if you apply to one scholarship and like answer the questions for those ones, it's gonna send it out to a bunch of other scholarships just so you can like get a further reach and increase your access to like education funding. And besides the scholarship universe portal, there's also tribal scholarships. So there's ONSFA, which is the Office of Navajo Nation Scholarship and uh, financial assistance. That one you have to apply. The deadline is going to be June 1st. There's also the Hopi tribe. They have a few scholarships they provide to their tribal students. That one's going to be due July 15th. There's the Thana the Education Assistance Program. They have a couple scholarships. It's going to be due June 18th. But the idea with tribal scholarships, they're more local. So we would recommend to like get in touch with like your local community, see like what the requirements could be because they could vary across tribes. But most of them are due like mid to like early summer. And then we would still recommend to keep searching for outside scholarships. It's a really important tool to have. It decreases your financial stress and leaves you more time to worry about like being in college and getting those good grades rather than being like, oh, I gotta pay my next like dorm payment, I gotta pay for my fees. It just takes a lot off of you. And this is coming from someone who didn't apply to a lot of scholarships at first. I personally just got my scholarship through ONSPA and I was like, okay, like that'd be good. But as soon as fall semester hit, those costs came in and I was like, whoa, this is a lot more than I anticipated. And then I was like, I made a huge mistake in not applying to enough scholarships. But because of that, I'm changing my ways now. I'm like, okay, I need to get these deadlines in. I need to set aside time to answer these questions and ask for my letters of recommendation. So it's all about like planning your time and just sometimes you have to take the like a hard hit just so you can realize that, hey, I need to lock in actually. And then here's some other tips, like what Cadence was saying. You can track your scholarships and keep all your essays. We would recommend tracking your scholarships through like it could be like even your notes app, a document. Using Google Sheets is also very helpful because you can use the individual cells and customize it to like organize your scholarships in a big table. And then, yeah, keeping all your essays really makes the process a lot easier because these questions are kind of similar to another. So you can low-key Frankenstein these questions and then put it all together just to answer it. We would also recommend to don't get discouraged. Um, you're not gonna get accepted to every scholarship you apply for. And sometimes it sucks. And it's like, wow, I really put like a lot of effort into it, but you need to like just realize that it's not that your story or that your answer to the question was like not good enough, but sometimes these scholarships are just really competitive. So they have to pick and choose who they're gonna want to like fund. But we would recommend just don't get discouraged and just keep applying. Just apply as many scholarships as you can.
Here are some takeaways that we had during this presentation. So manage your energy and not just your time. Just also try to stay ahead of everything while balancing, your assignments, your social life, and just everything under that. Start early and stay consistent for big goals. Don't procrastinate and just get it done with and look towards the big goal. Utilize different tools to get organized. As we mentioned all the different apps and the sheets you could do. Saying no to some things means saying yes to what matters the most. So those are some of the takeaways we have.
Hi everyone, me again. We're almost done, so bear with us. We're here at the closing. Yay! So then in the chat, can you guys answer with an emoji to the question? How are you feeling about paying for college and applying for scholarships overall now? So you can type or shout out explaining why in 1 to 2 sentences.
And then if you also have any questions that you would like for us to answer, we would recommend putting that in your little explanation too, just so we can help you all out.
I feel pretty nervous about applying for scholarships because I've been applying to a lot, but I haven't heard back from any other schools or organizations.
Yeah, I get that. That's pretty normal. The like lack of communication sometimes is like very frightening and you're like, did I even like get it at all? But I think you're doing a great job just applying for it and not letting that discourage you so much. But that's good. That's good.
I also agree that that's very like brave to be applying to a lot of them right now. I know it's kind of scary that they're not reaching out right now, but I feel like they will get back to you. You just got to be a little patient because they are kind of busy in the scholarship office too sometimes. So I think just patience and I feel like trust. I feel like you'll get them. So yeah.
And then Myria asked the question, how much do you all pay for college? If is a difference from university, community colleges, tribal colleges. So, personally, I had to pay, I'm being transparent. I had to pay about like $7,000 out of pocket, try to find funds for that. But that was not just because of tuition, but housing. Housing is like a really heavy cost. So just keep that in mind when you're applying to scholarships that like it's not just tuition you got to cover, but it's also like fees, housing, meal plans too, if you're going to be living on campus. And then there is going to be a difference from university, community colleges, and tribal colleges. Typically, university tends to be the more like costly option, but even though it seems more costly on the outside, don't let that deter you from like applying to university because sometimes even though it seems like it has like a very high like ticket price, I would say, you can get scholarships through the school and outside to help like cover that. And you can actually sometimes end up gaining a refund back and getting that money back. But typically, community colleges and tribal colleges tend to be less on like the more like ticket price side of things, less expensive.
So I'm also gonna be transparent too. I'm out of state, so I do attend school at the U of A in Tucson, Arizona, but I am from New Mexico. And since I'm out of state, that requires more fees. So keep that in mind going out of state. And I currently pay $42,000 for my education, but I like to know that I cost that much, so that works out too. Also for like paying it too, I don't really pay it off of fully scholarships because I don't fully have enough, but I also do work part-time and that also helps me out a lot too. And yeah.
And then Carol mentioned the Cobell scholarship is due today. Yes, I totally understand that. I was doing that and Frankensteining my essays together of like before this meeting, just trying to get that done due tonight.
Yes, hopefully you asked your recommender in advance. I had to ask
My
mine last week.
recommender is in here.
You're like, Myria?
Good old Myria coming in clutch.
Hi, everybody. I was just doing some background work. If you see me replying as a student, I do that often with our students just to kind of help. But if you have any questions, feel free to answer or ask, I should say. And then I know there's a lot of like maybe um I guess heat around like where what you should do after high school, right? Like considering should I just go straight to the university? Should I go to a community college? Or should I go like to my tribal college, Tanaotam Community College, or like to Net College? Those are great schools too. It's all about what you want to do and how you want to start. But personally, I feel like if I could redo my little past self and my experience when because I first came here straight from high school. I went to Tuba City and then I came to the U of A and I did not feel prepared. And I stress so much on scholarships now because I had to take like student loans out, right, to help pay for school. And my family, they couldn't help me, so I kind of just had to rely on that. But if you can, I'm gonna encourage you all right now. I'm like, just spend some time on it. It will really pay off. And I was telling one of our students today in class too, because he got the Gates Millennium Scholarship, and I was like, oh my gosh, that scholarship, you're totally covered. Some scholarships you'll like be all set with just one, and that's all you need. Some of them only give like 5,000 or like 2,000 or even 500, like the small ones. So all of it matters. And I was putting questions in there, but just know after all your scholarships pay off, like with the balance, that money comes back to you. So you can go on a shopping spree. Just kidding. You can go do what you want with your money. I got a laptop with mine, which is cool. One year I got like, I think 8,000 back in my reimbursement return. Used it for my bills and my laptop. But what about you all, Emma? Want to add to the discussion?
I got my nose pierced yesterday because I got like my refund check, so I'm so happy with it.
No, it looks like Raquel has a question or raising your hand. So go ahead and share out.
No, I was just going to speak upon what you guys were asking about. So personally, for me, once I graduated high school, I wasn't really sure. So I attended a college, which is a TCU, a TCC actually on the Navajo Nation. And during the time, it was summer of 2023. Gosh, that's like 3 years ago. But 3 summers ago, I took courses there because I also like what you guys mentioned. I was trying to, save on my education. And luckily for me, that's the last up to my spring semester of 24. So I spent 3 semesters there with no tuition fees because at the time the net college was free. So I managed to walk away with the net college with 63 credits in
Mhm.
actually 4 semesters. I did 2 summer and then spring. And and also once that I reached all the general core requirements for my course here at the net college, or actually U of A. So I came and transferred over in the transfer portal, and also, the transfer portal here offers a lot of scholarships too. They have your transfer fee, and also they have your merit through the transfer when you're a transfer student here at the U of A. And for me, same as well. When I first started, I really didn't take scholarship seriously. I just thought it was additional money. Like, hey, I already have some. I thought this could cover it. But later on down the road, my first semester, I paid about 6,000 out of pocket, and that was pretty pricey. And like couple of weeks after that, I started applying for scholarships and stuff. And pretty soon, my grades were good enough. I earned me a merit grant with the College of Social and Behavioral Sciences. So whatever tuition I have, of course, we have the ANS, the American Native Scholars Grant with the U of A. They cover only like certain amount, but with the merit I have, it covers the rest of it. So whatever scholarship money that Maria was talking about, that does straight come back to me because I'm on a merit grant, and basically a lot of them would say you're on the full ride. So that's how I was when I first started.
Thank you for sharing. That was really inspiring actually to like especially feeling that like that now of can I pay for college? Can I still attend this institution?
Right,
But
right. And I
thanks for
used to do
sharing
like
that.
and I used to do like fundraisers and stuff back home, especially when I had that 6,000 due, and it was like a lot of funding. And I'm so glad that those days are now behind me, and I have to worry less about tuition. So which is why having good grades and being on top of your task and deadlines can really pay off in the long run.
Had anyone heard about those tools that they shared for blocking apps or your screen time stuff or um, the task managers before? I had heard about a bird one. It was called like Finch. I've heard of that one, but I didn't download it, so it was a good reminder. Um, I have the screen time thing on my phone, and so it like tells me you've hit your screen time for something, and then it doesn't help because I can just put my password in to like override it. So hearing about those other tools is cool. But yeah, did anyone else hear about those before or any that they want to add? anything that they think works really well for them. I know some people put like their phones in lock boxes that have like timers if they really need it. But yeah.
Yeah, put us on. If it got really bad, I would actually just toss my phone in another room just so I could finish an assignment because I was like, this is too distracting to even have it in my presence.
Yeah, or hide it from yourself. I put it under like pillows or something so then I can't see it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I do the same. I try like I'd close my phone and I throw it on my bed, but then I forget where I put it, so I use my watch to find it. I'm like, wait, where'd it go? But yeah, it's effective to try and hide it from yourself just so you don't have to focus on it.
It's like Austin school makes them put phones in locked boxes. That's what I've heard a new policy is nowadays. My little brother attending high school, he has to do the same, put it in a bag. Looks like Maria asked the just letting if anybody did AP classes in high school. I took a bunch of APs. I took like AP Calc. I took AP English Literature and Language. And then I took also another AP, I forgot which one, but the thing with APs is that sometimes it's really dependent if you like pass the test or not, but I know some of my friends here at the U of A have struggled with getting their AP credits transferred. And depending on like postgraduate schools, sometimes they accept AP credit, sometimes they don't. So that can be also like a barrier. But I did AP and I also did dual credit enrollment. So my senior year of high school, I took AP Calc AB junior year. I did not pass that test. But so my senior year, I ended up taking calculus one class at the community college. And since it was dual credit, it was paid for by the school. So that way I actually did end up getting my credits transferred over to the U of A, so I didn't have to take a calc class here.
For me in high school, I never took any AP classes, but I was in classes that were dual enrollment credits. So I was able to get dual enrollment in my pre-calculus class, my two English literature classes, so I didn't have to worry about doing any reading or English when I went over to college. So I was happy about that. And that was mainly it. But I was happy that happened. But I found out my high school is finally offering dual enrollment for biology and chemistry. So now I am mad because I could have gotten those out of the way. But yeah.
Me personally, I didn't take any AP classes because I attended like school on the reservation, so it wasn't like offered to us. But we did get offered like dual enrollment as well, so I was able to work on like my WIN certificate, and I'm also CNA certified as well. But I mean, like they're just like my second career goals. Like if anything were to happen, but like it's just like I'm pretty sure I don't need to, but like, yeah, it's pretty nice to have.
So I didn't take any AP classes, and my school didn't offer the dual enrollment, but I'm doing just great without it. So starting from scratch. So yeah.
I had a question too. I was wondering, um, like what are some common prompts that the students should be ready to answer while they're preparing their essays and stuff in high school? What would you recommend they kind of start to work on? I think a big one is like your personal essay, right? But like, what can you remember on some of the questions that they asked?
From what I noticed, in like filling out the COBEL and the American Indian Education Fund from last year, is yeah, personal like journey is a large part of it. Just like how you got to like where you are now, like any like they always ask about like challenges that you face. Even if they don't directly ask about it, they're hoping you like weave that into your story. Um, like the tribal scholarships that I mentioned earlier, are the American Indian scholarships I mentioned earlier. They mention a lot of like how like background influences like um your college journey, like how you decided to pursue what you're studying currently, or how are you going to use it. They ask, well, most of them ask how you're going to use it to like further your own community and further the benefit of your people. But those are just some like prompts. And then I know an issue with like or something people struggle with is the fact that the word counts. Most of the short answer questions is going to range from like 250 words to 300, which often feels like it's not enough to like describe a story, but just keep that in mind when you're like typing out these essays.
Um, yeah, it's like mainly more personal, I would say too, because I was like a semi-finalist for the Bill Gates scholarship, and yeah, it was mainly more about like personal experience and everything. But then they like hit me up and they were like, "Hey, we'll let you know when we have an opening," and I was like, "Oh, dang, okay." But yeah.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, they always do ask for like the personal, just like the challenge you face, your background, and how like the career you pick is like how it's gonna impact your community and everything. And then for like personal essays, it's always best to, I know it's always hard to talk about yourself in a personal essay because you're just like, oh, I'm just me. Like, I don't know how it's like to, you kind of have to like brag about yourself in a way. So it is kind of hard in a bit. But yeah, it's just like kind of fun. For a personal essay, I thought it was fun for me because like you do just kind of like it's kind of nice to have like that kind of like scholarship, the questions they ask, you can kind of put that into like your personal essay. So then from there, like once you talk about like how like throughout like your years and you're like, oh, this was what happened with me last semester, you can just like keep adding on to it. Like we said, like recycling your essays to keep improving for like other additional scholarships you want to do.
Yeah, I experienced like them asking like how you like your family, like if you're first generation and stuff like that, or like different challenges you've been in, and how you've like overcame those. I think another one would be like probably just achievements you've also achieved, like activities you've done, like extracurriculars, and I think everyone touched base with at least all the questions I've been through too. Like how are you giving back to your community for at least the tribal scholarships and stuff like that. So that's what I would say on that.
Another thing is that like I guess all kinds of scholarships like defer too, because like I know there's ones about like drunk driving too and how it's like an impact to you, and like there's some about like what's your interest towards going into like music or something. Like I know in high school I applied to like a theater scholarship. I'm not even a theater kid. I applied because they told me just to apply, and I got it. Like I got free money, so I got free money. Just apply to all these scholarships, even if it's not in your major, because they have free money to give you. So yeah.
All right. Are there any last questions for our mentors? This is some good intel, though. I feel like you guys shared a lot of great information for the students. But while we're waiting, I I agree with what Katie was saying, Cadence. She was mentioning how like they always want to give money and like you don't have to kind of fall in their category sometimes. Because I know a student that I had met on my journey here at the U of A, they were like, yeah, I applied for there, it's a um Navajo student, and she was like, "Yeah, I applied for this Hopi scholarship because she's half Hopi, but she's enrolled in the Navajo tribe." And she had mentioned like, "Yeah, they said I had to have my enrollment, but they accepted me." So that was really cool to see like how it paid off for her in that way of not being shy, and just asking questions. And I feel like if we were to leave you with something, just know that the more questions you ask, the better outcome for you. I know a lot of us might be shy or feel weird about asking other people questions, but I feel like no question is a wrong one. And the more that you speak up and do what you need to do for yourself, and the more that you like manage your time and are prepared, it'll all pay off for you. And we're happy to see your journeys. Oh, I got a question in the chat mentioning the scholarships shared through email. I wonder, Amaya, are you able to share the link to this presentation with the students in here
Yeah, of
so that
course,
they
I can
can see
totally
it?
share the link. I linked everything also in the presentation for the scholarships that I put here just to make it a little bit easier. And then also the time tracker thing. So let me get that up.
All right, cool. While we're waiting for the link to show up in a bit, do you have any final words, mentors, before we send off our students back to Carol? We're gonna meet in the breakout room, but I just wanted to ask if you guys wanted to mention anything late before we leave here.
I would second that there's no stupid questions. That's something my grandma always told me. She's like, just keep asking questions. Like that's basically your job as a student. You're supposed to be curious and you're supposed to not know everything. So there's a lot of people like here to help you and on the way provide that information to you so that you can become a better student. But just keep asking questions, even if they seem silly, even if they seem like dumb sometimes. But someone else might be thinking of the same question as you.
I also agree with that. I would also say don't give up. Like even if like you face a shortage, don't give up because there's always gonna be like a brighter day. That's what I'm starting to learn is that no matter what, there's always a plan for you. So even like if you don't have enough money, then somehow it will come to you. Like you just have to have trust. And also I guess just even like your career path too, don't stress too much about it because what's for you will come to you. You'll learn that in time.
Okay, cool. Thank you all for hyping them up before we head out. Good job, everybody. Looks like we'll be seeing you all for your next session, and mentors will just debrief in the room. All right.
Yay, thank you all for being here. I will open the breakout rooms shortly, but I want to just thank you all for really tailoring your content towards our students. I know that at our last meeting, we did a poll and said like, hey, what do you all want to hear about? And we sent that list over and you all did it. So I thank you all for really taking care to do things that are in the interest of the students because that's what's going to help them the most. So good job, mentors. I'm going to add you all to the breakout room now, and then students will stay in this room and we'll transition over to the rest of the presentation. But opening them now. Great. All right, so we had Native SOAR present. They're going to be going into their breakout rooms. I have a few items here that I want to discuss with you all before we finish out today's workshop. So I'll go over this briefly. Most of you all were at the presentation last week, but for our workshop, not last week, 2 weeks ago, this is what we talked about. We talked about learning from peers because we just had not only the other science fairs, but a big one that everyone really participated in was the Southern Arizona Research and Engineering Fair. And so we covered some of the takeaways that were shared from your peers, in addition to looking at the NASEP schedule, because they posted that. This snippet here is for April 10th for in-person, but I think most are participating virtually. So there hasn't been anything updated so far from what I've seen with that. And then I also talked about my trip to Peru with the Culturally Inclusive Experiential Learning Opportunities Program, or CLO for short. And if you need a link to that video, to that workshop, it's linked here. Additional learnings that were included after the previous presentation was recommendation to practice at the fair. Their science fair, they said most of the judges asked them to explain parts of their project, why they did it, and what their future research goals were. Make sure to have a good understanding of the project and the results. And the other learning was that this person was surprised how many of the judges actually liked the project and were excited about it. And they said they even had people who work in water quality interview them. And so that was really cool because these are industry professionals who work with water quality and were just amazed with the work that was being done, and really wanted to learn more. So I hope that that's encouraging for you all to hear about the fairs, as we do have a science fair coming up virtually on April 3rd. And for folks that are still working on their projects. So I'm going to do a quick poll, because we did ask this at our last meeting and not everyone was there, but just to include, for April 14th, what would you like Native SOAR to cover in the next workshop? So I've opened the poll. Hopefully you all can see it. Feel free to include a response in there, and we'll share that anonymously with the group to let them know, hey, this is what students want to learn about. Today they talked about sort of time management, different skills to sort of cut down that screen time because we can get locked into our phones a lot, and also discussed how, on the opposite side of that, things that can help us to be more productive, including productivity related to scholarships, which is, we're in scholarship season right now. So they talked about best practices. If there was something that stood out that you were like, I really want them to talk more about this, or you have more questions, or if it's something not even related to what was talked at this session or a previous session that you want to know about, feel free to put it in the chat so we can get those ideas going for them for the next workshop. And from what you've seen, they really prepare. So if they have a strong prompt or area of interest that they can focus on, then they will do that. I'll keep it open for about 30 more seconds. Got 20 seconds. 10. Oh, I'm gonna drink some water really quick. My voice cracked. All right, finish up what you're typing. I'm gonna go ahead and end the poll. Great. Okay, thank you for doing that. All right, so moving on to NASEP, the National American Indian Science and Engineering Fair. I believe they changed it. I think the I stands for Indigenous, so, but NASEP. Have they sent anyone any emails related to their projects yet? Anyone who has a complete project, we've registered you unless you said you did not want to participate. So has anyone received any emails from NASEP regarding their submissions?
I have not received anything from NASEP or like for the fair.
NASEP, okay. So I have one student that said they asked about required forms. Okay, so on my side, because I'm listed as the teacher, it says, it shows me all of the individuals who are registered, and right now it says like pending, awaiting approval, so approval status. So I did log on to one of the student accounts, and they ask for the abstract and project summary in 2 different places, and they didn't do this before when first registering, because on one of the last progress areas there, that's where it asked for the abstract and for the project summary. So it's kind of a duplicate in a sense, but they're asking for it where the forms are. So I'm going to see if adding those forms again to that other area will push the registration through. But on my side, I haven't received any emails saying like your students are missing this or missing that. So if you're receiving emails, feel free to forward them to me. I'll put my email here because I want to see what they're communicating to you all if I'm not getting anything on my side. And since this form, the science fair form wizard and this platform, they have an area here. Let me show you. That says messages. So here, sometimes they might try to send you something here. Project Wizard, this is where I'm talking about for the forms. It says not included abstract or project summary, but they ask for that here for project documentation too. So hopefully, yeah, uploading from one page to the other page will correct the issue. But if for some reason you're getting messages, that say that you're missing something, please let me know. Nothing on my side as a administrator is saying that I get to like approve things, so I'm double checking. If you're receiving something that says that I need to approve something, then let me know so I can go on there. I also shared that messages portal too, because last year that's where students were receiving updates for their interview times and things. So it's important to log on and check it, because I don't know if everything will just be routed to your email. But if you have questions, send them to me, because I haven't heard anything yet. So yeah, and we're coming up on like 3 days, so we'll see, I guess, question mark. Just let me know if you receive an update, because I haven't received any updates about registrations. Here are our upcoming dates and deadlines. So April 3rd, which is this Friday, is when the virtual science fair is supposed to be. Again, if you hear anything about it, let me know, because I haven't received an update yet. April 11th, which is the following Saturday, is University of Arizona Admitted Student Day. It's a free event for folks to attend. If you've been admitted to the University of Arizona and want to come on campus and do different activities and things that are related to being an admitted student, we'll have our next workshop on April 14th with Native SOAR, and then our last workshop will be on April 28th as well. And our closing ceremony is coming up in a little over a month on May 2nd. The next slide, not the next slide. Continue working on your project tasks. This is the NASEP project guide, so if you need to get started on your project or have questions, reference here first. I thought that the next slide was going to be the RSVP for it, but I guess it's at the end. So summary of what we've done. We had Native SOAR talk and present about time management, scholarships, and productivity. We reviewed our last meeting. We did a science fair check-in, and we're reviewing different announcements. Here it is. Okay, so this is the save the date for our closing banquet. Here is the link to RSVP. And what's important for this RSVP, I know that there's connotation of like you RSVP if you're going to go. We actually ask everyone to fill this out because it's a yes or no prompt. And if you aren't able to attend, then we would like to know that you can't, because otherwise it just seems to us that you may not have heard about the event yet. So we're going to reach out and be like, hey, did you hear of the event? If you can or can't come, please RSVP, letting us know if you can or can't come. Included in the RSVP questions are things related to like dietary restrictions, how many people are going to attend. If you're coming in person, we're also going to have like a virtual option as well. And for folks who can attend, we still want to be able to mail you your stole and your certificate. So it asks questions related to where's the best place to mail those items. So even if you can't come, please fill out this form and connect with your family to let them know that we're having folks RSVP, so you all may know the information for your attendees. And let me put it in the chat as well, just so that you all have it. Great, okay. And then we're coming to a close. Oop, what am I doing? I went too far, I believe. Yep, I did, okay. So we're coming to a close with the workshop. Again, our next workshop will be April 14th. And if folks have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Thank you, Maria. And will be on if people need to go out to breakout rooms to ask additional questions, or we're available on Slack. But before everyone heads out, here are a few quotes, because in our previous workshops, we've shared quotes from influential people who are Native, that are either related to education or geosciences, Mother Earth, or like STEM. And so this one is a special quote because this is from Dr. Celso Villegas, who is a great partner of our program for a very long time. This photo up here is from my first year working with NASEP. And so this was my first cohort, and the students were presenting their posters. And so it really resonated to me in our other slides where folks were like, I was really amazed that there were people who work in water quality that were interested about my project and work in the industry of water quality and protection. And that's exactly who Dr. Celso Villegas was. He was the director for the Tana Water Resource Department. So you all may have heard that before or are familiar with that, because they're the department that that donated the water quality test kits for you all to use in your science fairs. And so, yeah, they're big supporters of having youth gain skills in STEM, but also protection of Mother Earth as well, including water. And then this photo here was from, I think, our 2022 or 2023 NASEP program, where he was talking about water quality as well with the students, and did a great discussion about how to go about influencing people to want to protect water, because he was involved with the American Indian movement, which fought for civil rights, and also wrote poetry about Mother Earth and protecting Mother Earth. And so those were some of the things that he talked about, like resistance movements, and also using art to express how you feel, and as art as a way of resistance as well, because people think like, oh, you're someone who's interested in STEM, you must be more analytic. And he really blended those two things of STEM and art together quite beautifully. And so, yeah, this is me remembering Dr. Celso Villegas, because he passed away earlier this month. And so here's some quotes from him that he shared. I'm going to take a second. So something Celso said was, I'm here to protect Mother Earth and my people. I'm here to provide water to the Tana, my children, my grandchildren, and my great-grandchildren. I've had the privilege of having great-grandchildren, and the ones that are coming, sorry, I hope it's coming clear through the audio. His other quote that I want to leave you all with is, thank you for exposing Native youth to water and water quality. We as Indigenous need to get back to understanding the role of water in our lives and our environment. Water is a gift, and we need to appreciate it. And that bottom quote is actually one of the last email correspondences that I had with Celso related to the geoscience water quality projects, and sharing that because he really believed in you all. He had a grandson who went through NASEP too. And yeah, through this, I hope that we can honor his commitment to not only Mother Earth, but also to the program. And in this way, yeah, we honor you, Celso. Thank you. If anyone has any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, we can go ahead and close out our workshop for today. Thank you all.